Our next performer is Hani Madhoun. Hani is originally from Beit Lahia in the northern Gaza Strip. He moved to the US in 2000 to continue his studies. During his time as a graduate student in the Marriott School of Business at Brigham Young University, Hani authored a business plan for a Palestinian denim company in the Gaza Strip. He called it Passion, a combination of the words Palestine and fashion. The business plan made him a finalist for the business school's annual social venture competition. Hani currently lives in Washington, D.C., where he works at a nonprofit organization that helps promote Palestinian culture and the development of Palestinian human rights. When Hani is not working or worrying about his loved ones back in Gaza, he blogs as a member of the Kebab Fest blog, and when he's given a free opportunity, he does stand-up comedy in D.C. Hani?
So the joke goes, I always introduce myself to my American friends, hey, I'm a Muslim who went to a Mormon school, so you can either hate me or really hate me. My mom told me that the local Gaza store, the Walmart store, closed because everything there is a Target. but tonight, for me, it's not a laughing matter. I wanted to share with you a personal story I wrote about my family in Gaza. Gaza, the audacity to survive. A day after Israel and Hamas agreed to a ceasefire, my family, like countless other civilians, finally returned to the ruined remnants of their former lives and homes. The homes they left behind are now nothing more than bits and pieces of rubble. The houses and apartment buildings were abandoned and left to the mercy of the Israeli bombing and the military invasion that followed. After days of not being able to communicate with members of my family, thanks to the continuous shortage of electricity, I finally managed to get through. Here is what members of my family returned to. Uncle Shakir still can't manage to live in his home, since debris from missiles and bombs occupied the entirety of his living room. He especially mourns the complete destruction of his personal library, where he says he lost thousands of dollars in rare and out-of-print books. I imagine his students are not too worried about that. My older sister, Samah, found her newly built home in a bad shape. Shells and ammunition now decorate the facade, and her wedding bedroom set was turned to ashes. My 14-year-old niece, Wala, recently had a nightmare in which she saw her mom being killed by an Israeli airstrike. For days, she and the other 12 family members who shared a small room together were sleep-deprived and found no relief in the constant chilling. 3 out of the homes in our immediate neighborhood have lost a loved one. The 4th one stands without a roof. My mother girlfriends confessed to her in the most confidential terms that though they are grown women, they wet their pants out of fear of death on numerous occasions these past 3 weeks. The rise of amputees throughout the Gaza Strip has skyrocketed at such an alarming rate that my mother has altered her daily prayers and supplications to include simple things like, thank you for my arms and legs, and for my children who still have their arms and legs. Grandpa says that people are so disoriented that they no longer recognize each other. 3 weeks of straight carnage, destruction, and horrors can only rob people of their innocence and sense of consciousness. Dad had worries of his own. His 33 grandchildren gathered around him, hoping he would keep them safe, something he promised he would do. But I think he said it best when he told me, if I can't even keep myself safe, how can I give them what I don't have? In Gaza now, the loss of a dear family member because of the recent invasion does not automatically call for a funeral. You only have one of those if your entire family is gone, said Uncle Ahmed, who lost his 22-year-old daughter to an Israeli sniper as she stood in her kitchen. Now people funeral pool in Gaza, where every area has a large consolidated funeral to serve an entire block. Friends, supporters, and sympathizers of the Palestinian people and their struggle to survive want them to be a race of men and women with superhuman abilities that can bear it all. The irony is that our opponents think we are nothing more than a race of subhumans. A day after the ceasefire took effect, my father was an eyewitness to how easily American-made weapons could rattle his own town like an earthquake. I just had a question for my old man. Do people hate the Americans now that they've given their unconditional support to Israel? His response, we don't hate anyone right now. We are disappointed. After all, he said, we haven't forgotten that written on the flour we eat are the following words, a gift from the American people. Despite the fact that American-made weapons are razing towns like mine and thus paving the way for the aid trucks to come, American generosity makes Gazans look the other way. I guess that's exactly what needs to happen in order for America to actually help people in this world. While a sustainable ceasefire now in place and a new administration in the White House, the worst is now behind us. We've hit a rock bottom, and the only direction left to build is up towards a better future. You would have to be crazy to deny that the Gaza Strip has seen more than its fair share of death, destruction, and suffering. Now is the time to show my Gaza family that America is more than just a warehouse of Apache helicopters and F-16 bombers. Now is the time to show them that America's power and might is not in its weapons, but in the heart and the soul, in its heart and soul, its ideals, and the selflessness of its people. Things can't change. Things must change. Thank you very much.
Thank you for Hani for exposing the heart and soul of Gaza. And thank you, Hani, for this beautiful testament to America's